Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 75 of the Brighter Horizons podcast. Now, for those of you that have been around, you know what it means when I'm doing the intro. But for those of you who haven't been around, today we have a very, 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 very special guest with us today. So everybody, please give a warm welcome to my man, Aly Ghanema. Woo! Woo! There'll be more cheering in the background. But
yeah.
Aly, give the viewers a quick intro.
All right. Hi, guys. Nice to meet you. My name is Aly Ghanema. I am a second-year BD student. I'm just like Nithik. Me and Nithik, we became friends. Oh, my God. Would have been what? Like, actually hasn't been.
It really hasn't been that long
it's
that
been,
we've been that. Like, we have known each other for like a year.
But
we
like
haven't
a year.
even, we did not talk for the first like 4 or 5 months.
For genuinely the first like 6 months of us. The first like 6 months of us knowing each other, we like genuinely exchanged like 3 sentences. Mm-hmm. But hey, man, it's this guy's awesome.
Wow.
This guy's awesome.
Gives me too much credit. Now, I brought Aly onto the podcast for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, always fun to yap with a friend, but I think that you personally have a lot of insights, and we've had a lot of insightful conversations,
For sure.
Whether it be about, life or relationships, school, the future, like whatever it may be. I know you have a lot of insights. Now, honestly, I'm going to just kick this off with a bang. I'm going to get straight into the deep end of topics. So what I want to ask you about, Aly, is, I know this is something that I know about you, and maybe the viewers don't, but you've been through a great deal of struggle in your life. You've been through quite a few lows and even some highs, but
absolutely,
how do you personally maintain like hope, happiness? Like, you're one of the like smiliest guys I've known. Like, genuinely always wearing a smile, dude. So how do you personally go about having that smile every day, regardless of all the things that happen in your life?
I think, honestly, like, for me, when it comes to maintaining that smile, like, all day, every day, it's because I know how it feels to be the person who needs to see that smile, right? When, like, maybe you're having a really rough day, maybe you're like, oh, wow, like, I genuinely just don't, I'm not feeling it today, and it's okay to feel like that sometimes, and for me, seeing someone that I was friends with, even someone that I didn't know, and they just said a couple nice words to me, or they, like, I could tell that they were just so happy. Like, that always made my day. So I know how much that can help others. And honestly, to me, it just makes life a bit less life, It makes it a bit less sad, makes it a bit less unfortunate. Like, if you wear a smile on your face, like, you start to believe it at the end of the day too. And, like, I don't know. I just think that more smiles, more happiness, more laughter in the world.
I feel like you perfectly embody the entire point of this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, if I had to boil it down to one person, it might be you.
Yeah.
And
Stop it.
one of the things that you said that, like, I think more people need to hear is that, like, it's okay to not be okay.
Of course.
And obviously, I want to hear your insights on it. But one of my experiences being, like, I always imagined being in the hole as literally being in a hole. Like, imagine being in a ditch.
Yeah.
And you're frantically trying to climb out, but all you're doing is digging the hole deeper for yourself, right? Sometimes we try so hard to get out instead of just figuring out where we are that we make our situations worse. So, like, for you, right, what is your experience with being okay when you're not?
I think, honestly, like Nithik said, when it comes to feeling like you're in that hole, sometimes you are, right? Sorry.
You're good.
But the honest truth is sometimes you are in that hole and it is just you. As much as it sucks to be in that hole, like, sometimes it's okay to make the best of your situation. But don't make your situation something that it isn't. When you're not in that hole, let's say you're just lost, it's okay to, call out, look for someone else to help you. Look for someone that you know. Like, it's okay to ask for help. Because at the end of the day, it is okay to not be okay. What really matters is, as stupid as it sounds, like, how you bounce back. But it really is. Like, how you deal with knowing you're not okay makes it a lot easier to go about your life. If you do take that first step in, I need to, like, talk to someone, or I want to have someone that I can talk to, just going out of your way to do that, like, little leap of faith even, I think is so, so important for being in that metaphorical hole.
I could not agree more. And, like, another thing for me is I think that there's I want to say a lack of like acceptance of reality. A lot of people will, and it's like in the wrong way. A lot of the times people talk about how like, oh, people kind of force themselves into being sad. Like there's this whole thing about like depression where people are like, oh, it's just the way that you're thinking
happy,
that's,
bro.
you know,
Duh.
right? But I think there's an even like there's a counter to it in the sense that people don't accept sometimes the fact that things aren't okay, that things are bad, and that they need to deal with it. People use delusion as a method to escape reality and to not actually face the things that they're afraid to face. And in my opinion, I think you're kicking a can of pain down the road.
For sure.
And you're just going to leave it there, and eventually it's just going to come back, and it's going to come back, and it's going to come back. I think that if more people today accepted their pain and chose to deal with it, like, it's scary, but it's effective. And in the long run, it's always going to be so much more beneficial, you know? I want to say, like, for you, I feel like this is like tending down an interview path to me asking you questions, but I think on that note of dealing with those things, facing those fears, like, how do you go about facing the things you're afraid to do? The things that genuinely, it doesn't need to be like, I wouldn't say like, oh, how do you deal with your fear of heights?
Yeah,
because like
yeah.
that's not really what I mean. I mean the things
My
that
dad
are,
has
like,
a fear of heights, by the way, guys.
really, is it an inherited thing? Like, do you have one too?
I don't know. I didn't have one when I was younger, but then I kind of like. Okay, is quick side tangent.
Quick side tangent. Go ahead.
I think it would have been grade 4 or 5 camp, and we were doing the rock wall. And I got to the top, and for the first time, I genuinely looked down. That might be some of the most scared I've ever been in my life. I was
Really?
I started shaking. I started crying up there. I was like, "Yo, get me
Wait,
down!"
so you're telling me you're like held up on the wall,
like
tears running down your face?
like tears running down my wall. My legs are shaking. I don't know. That was like the first time I ever really. I was like, "Oh, I'm scared to be up here." Like up until that point, I'd been rock climbing so many times before. I don't know. My dad's a big guy too. He's like 6'5", 6'6" almost.
Damn.
And like the better part of 300 pounds. Like, I don't know how he's scared of heights, but whatever, right? Like,
No, because like for me, I know my dad is not afraid of heights at all, and I'm not afraid of heights. So maybe it might be a gene. Oh no, but Akita is terrified of heights. If you guys should know one thing about him, it's that he is so scared of heights.
Didn't know that.
And amusement park rides. When we were in Japan, I had to
Really?
convince this guy to go on rides. So I'm just saying, out of the two of us, one is braver. That's all I'm gonna say.
nice
But
guy.
it might be a inherited thing. But going back,
back to the dealing with the fears and whatnot.
like, what's your process?
Honestly, guys, like I'll be very transparent here. Sometimes I do let it get the best of me, and I think that's just what makes us human. Perfection is a concept that so many people know of, but so few can really grasp mentally, because those who understand what perception is know that it's almost never attainable, right? And it's okay at times to let yourself be scared and know that realistically there might not be something that you can do about it at the time. It's okay to feel emotions. It's okay to feel that fear. But when I do feel scared to do something, obviously not fear of heights. Don't have that one, guys. But if it's something that I am really, really, like, I genuinely am scared to do, like, okay, I'll just give, like, an example. Something I was really, really, really scared for, although I don't know, is I don't really get nerves like that. I'll be honest with you guys. But to me, like, just, yo, as stupid as it sounds.
Just say it.
Bro, like, talking to someone that, like, you think you have feelings for, like, that has been one of the biggest sources
I feel
of
like
fear
that's
for my
the
life.
most, like common thing that people could relate to in like, a
Seriously.
fear factor. Yeah.
That one is, guys, it's rough. Like, it's scary. But I promise you, it is so much, once you do take that step and you do talk to that person, whoever they may be, right? It's so much better than constantly being in fear to take that step. Because once you do take that leap of faith, you're already falling, right? You don't have time to climb back up and be scared to jump. You're already there. And that goes for so many other things. If you have a tryout for a sport or an interview for a job or something, and you're scared, just know that humans evolved to have fear for very good reasons, right? So the fact that you're feeling it does mean that everything is working. It means your brain's in the right place. It means your heart's in the right place. If you're scared to do something, that means you care. So at the end of the day, if you know that you're scared of this thing, not because you don't think you can handle it, but because you know you deserve it, then you really shouldn't be scared at all. You should be excited. And that's easier said than done, but it comes with time.
No, I don't think I could have put it better, man.
Like, it really does come
I
with
think
time.
that idea, that concept that, like, fear is part of our lives.
Yeah.
Like, I think it kind of stems back to that being okay with not being okay. Is that these negative things are, like, they are a part of our lives. They shape who we are. And to try and live without it's impossible. And I actually watched a video the other day. Do you know the Zerky Show?
That sounds familiar.
Like, it's just this guy, and he just sits in, like, nature, and he just talks into a mic for, like, 20 minutes.
Yeah, no,
and, like,
I know who you're talking about.
I've seen his, like, I saw his reels, and I was like, one of my friends shout out Abby, actually. He's been on the podcast before, but he showed me him. And then I went back, and I started watching his YouTube videos, and I was like, damn, first off, everybody who's watching this, you should go check out his videos, because they're so generational. Like, the way he talks is amazing.
Yeah.
Concepts he covers, so amazing. But one of the videos, I was just watching it, is about assumptions. It's about the assumptions that we make, not only about other people, but about ourselves. And that's one thing that on this podcast, I always talk about, like, oh, don't judge people. Don't think you know things about other people that you, like, don't, right? Don't make those assumptions. But one thing I never touched was don't make assumptions about yourself either. Is a lot of the times before something, we sell ourselves so short by assuming that we're incapable, that we don't deserve it, or that it won't happen to us. But then you sit back and you ask yourselves, why do you even think that? Why are you sat here, actually genuinely questioning all those things? You're living based off a bunch of assumptions built on non-substantiary evidence about why you don't deserve great things, or why you should feel fear, or you should feel sadness.
Yeah.
But in reality, that's not true.
It really isn't. Like, when it comes to how you talk to yourself, I think it is so incredibly important how you talk to yourself, especially how you talk about yourself, because you are always listening, right? Every word you say, you're always listening. So if those words are about yourself, like, you're going to hear them and you're going to remember them because you're going to know who said them, right? It's just really difficult to get out of that mindset of, no, this won't happen to me. No, I don't deserve this. No, I won't get this. Like, I'm not the person who blank. I'm not the guy who, I don't know, can make 9 out of 10 threes, right? I'm not the guy who gets a 99 on his accounting final. I'm really not, though. Like, that one's true. But are you not that person, or do you not want to let yourself believe that you could be that person? Is it easier for you to accept that that could never be you and that that's not you than it is for you to accept that you want to try? Because you're scared of failing. You're scared of giving yourself that hope of, oh, that could be me. I could do it. And then let's say you don't do it the first time. Now, not only did you you feel like you wasted your time, when you really didn't. Believing in yourself is never a waste of time. But because you stepped out of your comfort zone to believe in yourself and you pushed yourself to try, and now you failed, now you feel worse than you would be before. And I think that's the main reason why people are so against that. Oh, no, good things don't happen to me. No, that's not me. No, I don't deserve this. But I subscribe to the idea that everyone exactly is where they should be and that everything happens for a reason. If you get something, it is because you deserve it. You might not feel you deserve it, but at the end of the day, it's not within your hands. So many things aren't within your hands. Let's say you get a spot in a club or you get a job and you're like, I don't even know how I got this. I don't think I deserved it. Realistically, your opinion in that decision-making process is the one that matters the least.
Yeah.
Because you are not any of the people who are deciding whether or not you get that opportunity. You stuck your neck out. You went for it. You got it. That means you deserved it. All right? You might not think you deserved it. Other people might not think you deserved it. But the people in charge of making that decision thought you deserved it. So it's okay to go home at night and think and go, maybe I am that guy who can make 9 out of 10 threes. Maybe not right now. Maybe not in a year from now. But that could be me. And you don't even have to go after it. But you have to believe that if you wanted to, you could. And that makes life so much easier than believing that you can't.
I genuinely could not agree more. And one of the things is, I don't know if you've seen this interview by Kanye, and don't get me wrong, I don't love quoting the guy because at times, it can be kind of controversial here and there. But,
like a little bit,
one of the things he said in this interview was like, he's like, if I put my mind to it, I could do anything. And he's like, if I wanted to be in the NBA, I would be. And like the interview is like, no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. And it's like, Do I think Kanye could be in the NBA? Absolutely
Absolutely
not.
not.
But the fact that he has that unwavering belief that he actually could, respectfully, could he have been rage baiting in that interview? Maybe. But I
Probably.
don't doubt that he has a self-confidence that if he put his mind to something, he would be able to do it. And I think it's because to him, hope worked out. Having hope in his life really worked out. The hope he had in his career, in his like business efforts, and everything that he had done prior to controversy, let's just say,
Prior
it
to,
worked
like,
out.
The 2020s.
Right? I think that hope is something that a lot of people fear because it's something that has constantly failed them. And sometimes we run from hope because we have felt the pain of it, but we haven't felt that euphoria of when what you hope becomes real. Because the second that happens, the second that what you waited so long for, that I used to pray for times like this, when it hits, it's
Everything else
goes
out the window.
Out the window. You don't remember all the times that it went wrong.
Exactly.
Because this was all that you needed. And one of the things I draw from this book right here, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, one of genuinely the best books I've ever read. And I have been saying this from the start, is that this book, to me, is the perfect embodiment of what hope truly is. Like in this book, there's a passage where it's about a guy who's in a concentration camp in World War II.
Yeah.
So he's in a Nazi concentration camp. And he just documents his life going through it, his process. And the one thing he said, the thing that separated the survivors from the people that died, was that the survivors had hope. And he said to him, all it took to instill hope in him was a sunrise. Or a sunset, sorry. There was like this, he painted a picture basically where he talks about how, all these men hard at work in the mud on gray skies. And then as night rolls around, there's just a moment, a literal moment of sunshine that comes down, just descends over the camp.
Yeah.
And they're all standing silent. And one of them says, how beautiful the world could be. To me, that one sentence, that one person that was willing to have hope inspired every other person there to have it again.
To have that hope.
Right? I think that you just need a little sign, a little reminder that hope works, that you can find genuine happiness through it, and you can't let the bad times determine every single step that you're going to make forward, because if you do that, there is no changing, right? Nothing changes if nothing changes. If you're constantly hooked up on the idea that it's going to end bad, it's going to end bad, it's going to end bad,
and it's gonna
end bad, guys. Like,
I hate
that's
to break it to you guys, but if you genuinely believe in your heart 100% of the time that everything you do is gonna end bad, I promise you it will. And back to the point of the other people in the interview or whatever are deciding, if you genuinely believe that it's gonna end bad, I can't do this, then you're not going to. Like, every single person on earth is a culmination of every battle they've ever won, maybe every little fight that they've lost. But at the end of the day, everyone is here, right? If you're here, no matter who you are, you've gone through a lot. Could have been good, could have been bad, could have been both, could have been neither. You don't know. You might not even remember a lot of things you've done. But I want you to think about it right now. Yeah, you fail right now, so what? Yeah, it's hard. It's easy to hear. It's like, oh, this guy has no idea what I'm going through. But you fail right now, so what? How many times in your life have you failed? Does it really matter? Yeah, it's going to suck. Like, you ask this girl out, she says no. Oh, okay, that sucks. Like, maybe a month from now, it's not even going to... You're like, you know what? At least I asked. You apply for that job. Oh, you got rejected. Oh, whatever. I'll just go work at Goldman Sachs anyway. But at the end of the day, losing that battle doesn't mean you've lost the war, right? As long as you have that little bit of hope that you can do it, that you can win, like, how high would you fly if you knew you couldn't fall? But so many people are stuck in this idea of, I'm gonna fall, and you're going to fall, right? If you genuinely believe that you can't fly, you can't make it, you are gonna fall, then at the end of the day, you will.
I think, to me, one of the most frustrating things I see in people very often is, and this is something I've seen in myself, is we take the years of our lives, the memories, all the battles we've won, all the ones that we've lost, and we distill ourselves down to one word, like, I'm bad, or I'm good, or whatever. Like, you are complex. If I could describe a person in one word, that's the only word I genuinely think I could use, is that You are a culmination of whatever, 18, 19 years of experiences, all boiled down into one person who is here today. You really mean to tell me that in one word you could define yourself? That you could define every pivotal moment in your life? And that this moment, this one right now, is going to be that revolutionary if you take a step. That if this one thing doesn't work out, those 18, 19 years of experiences just go out the window. That all that greatness, all those efforts, all that development just disappear. Are you okay?
I'm okay, guys.
All of that doesn't just disappear when you make one mistake. You are a complex person built on the foundation of years upon years, some people decades of experience. And you really mean to tell me that this one step that you're too afraid to take is going to generationally ruin everything? To me, that's just a little unrealistic.
It really is. And now, okay, I don't know if you guys have watched this movie. It's Surf's Up, right?
Oh my God.
Surf's Up's an incredible movie.
Yes.
And if you've watched the movie, you know exactly what quote I'm about to talk about, which is, Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's me, bro. Let me be me. Because at the end of the day, you might think you're this, you might think you're that. Oh, I'm a terrible person, I'm a great person, I'm a villain, I'm a hero, all this. But at the end of the day, you are you. There will never be another you. There has never been another you. You are the culmination of not only the 18, 19, 20, however many years that you've lived, you are the genuine endpoint right now of everyone who's come before you, of every single person who's ever been in your lineage, every single human being on earth. Everything that has ever happened has led to you being here right now. And you're really telling me that these thousands of years of steps are going to end and go a completely different way because you took one more? It's just not true. It's just not how it works, right? And so many people are stuck to take that turn. So many people are stuck to go straight. So many people are stuck to go left that you end up just staying stationary. The light is green, but you're scared to go.
I think it kind of ties back to the self-talk, right? How you genuinely spend like your time with yourself. Because like the one thing you said is you're always listening, and you are the person you spend the most amount of time with. So you better make sure that you love that person.
Absolutely.
Because there's this it's like a cycle, and I talked about it on the last episode, and I know that we've talked about this. Is like
a lot.
Personally, in my life, I've found myself at the point where I tell myself over and over, I'm a bad person, I'm a bad person. And you get caught in like this cycle of every bad thing I do is because I'm a bad person, and every good thing that I do is an outlier. And it's even worse when everybody else is saying, dude, you're good, like it's okay, you're fine. But in my head, I can't get it out that I'm bad. And then it gets to this point, and I talked about it again last episode. It gets to this point where I say to myself, I'm so bad that I've convinced everybody else that I'm good. And now all the great things that people say to me, all the great things people do for me, all the compliments, all the grace that I get that I should be accepting, I turn it into a negative fuel to like source that fire of like hate for myself. Now, I'm very grateful to myself that I've gotten out of that and I've kind of moved past it. But you have the ability to manipulate the world around you.
Absolutely.
That is a power you shouldn't take lightly. Every time that you have those thoughts about yourself where you are genuinely degrading yourself because of whatever reason, understand that that's a big impact on you. And in the same way, it can have such a positive one if you give it a chance. If you give it the moment to just grow, to change, to accept that you have failings, give yourself grace, forgive yourself, and move on. There is so much greatness to be found. There's so much positive impact to be had. But a lot of the times, we don't do that. And it's so funny to me because in, the 75 episodes of doing this, there's always this common theme of like, if it's so easy, why doesn't everybody just do it?
Exactly.
Like to me at first, when I first started on this journey, it was really simple. If you go back and you watch episode 1 of me and Nikita talking, first off, please don't, because it's a horrible episode. And I look so different then than I think I do now. I sound worse. I sit 10 feet away from the mic. But regardless of all of that, the one thing we really talk about in that episode, the title is How to Be Happy. And it was so simple. It was just, hey man, life is beautiful. That's literally how we opened the episode, right? Because we tried to boil it down to make it so simple. But the more that I talk about it, the more I think, like, damn, this seems pretty straightforward and logical.
It really does.
Why don't we just be happy?
I think just because something simple doesn't mean it's easy, right? So many things are simple. So many actions that you can take, so many actions that you have taken have been simple, but it didn't make them easy, right? And something can be so extremely complicated, but be an extremely easy thing to do. Think about, it's going to sound so stupid, but if you really sat down and think about how the human body works, how every breath you take is keeping you alive, how every single one of your organs is doing its own thing, that is so complicated, but to everyone, it comes easy, right? And so many things, like Nithik mentioned like a couple sentences ago, self-forgiveness, which I think is so extremely important. Some of the nicest, most forgiving people I know that I've ever talked to have never forgiven themselves. Because that is the last person where if I forgive myself, then where do I go from there, right? Once I've forgiven myself, I no longer feel bad. I no longer feel all these different emotions. People are scared of the unknown, right? So you force yourself to keep feeling that hurt. You force yourself to be upset. You force your pain to write these checks that are never going to be cashed, all right? No one's ever going to come and collect on your debt and all of a sudden, oh, now you're free. Now you feel better about yourself. No, you have to stop. Like, you have to forgive yourself first and foremost. And once again, easier said than done. Simple, not easy.
I think, to me, it's even funny because sometimes it seems so simple to everybody else, but to us, it's so much more different.
So different.
Like, we even had a conversation about this, but like how everybody else can give their opinions on like exactly what you should do because for some reason they definitely know what you should do over you about your own situations. But I think it's really funny because we value other people's opinions so much.
You really do.
But when it comes down to the wire, your opinion, in a lot of cases, like obviously taking the job interview, for example, right? If you're getting the job, that's based on how they see you, not how you see you. Obviously, is there a bit of correlation?
Of course.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the outcome is based on them. The outcome of your own actions is based on you. It's based on how you feel about yourself, how you feel about situations. I think that people need more trust within themselves and understanding that it's okay to make a mistake if it was out of self-belief. To me, you only develop, like people say like, oh, pain makes you develop. But I think it only develops when you genuinely make a mistake, not when somebody makes a mistake for you. You don't change when somebody else tells you to do something and it turns out wrong. You change when you make the active decision to do it and then realize that you were incorrect. If somebody forced you to jump off a bridge and you broke your leg, you wouldn't be like, well, that was stupid. No, I was forced into that position. It wasn't my choice. I knew it was dumb, but I didn't have a choice. Versus if you decided, I'm going to go jump off a bridge because my buddy did, and you break your leg, you're like, well, let's think twice next time. Your own decisions are what give you the space for growth. So making mistakes only grows when it's you that's making that decision. Don't put so much faith in everybody else that you diminish your own. It's important to value your friends. It's important to value your family, your loved ones, the people that want the best for you. But value yourself first. Put that opinion higher up there because it means the world. It will make an impact on your life. And like, it's the foundation. It's where you start, right? At the end of the day, regardless of when, like, people are always going to be there for you. But when you're born and when you die, the person you're left with is yourself.
Yeah.
So who that person is, having trust in who that person is so incredibly important.
You have to know that person. You have to know yourself. And that comes in so many different ways and forms. Like back to getting advice from other people. And honestly, sometimes you might even agree with them. You might be like, if I was giving advice to someone in my situation, that's exactly what I'd say. But believing they're correct objectively doesn't mean that it's what you think you should do. just because you think what they're saying is right doesn't mean what you feel is wrong. Feelings are so subjective. You can't, once you bring objectivity into the discussion of feelings, it no longer makes sense, right? Shout out to our great Bass president, Jason George. He put this into perspective for in a meeting for me and Nithik, where the entire human race has evolved based on the sole thing of keep yourself alive, survival of the fittest, or what was it?
Yeah, it's like Darwinism.
Yeah,
basically.
Darwinism, right?
Yeah.
Survival of the fittest. But if you have a sibling, you have a parent, you have someone that you truly love, and someone shot a bullet at them, would you jump in front of that bullet?
Absolutely.
Exactly. So that goes against every single thing that, humans have gone to evolve. So trying to be objective in something like feelings just doesn't make sense. Like I said, you might agree with what they're saying. Hell, you might give the same advice the day after to someone else. But if that's not how you truly feel, if that's not what you think is right for you, then it never will be right for you.
Like, again, I think that there's always an unsettling factor. Like, even if you listen to other people's advice, if you didn't agree with it, suppose even it goes well, there's always that, like, unsettling factor of, like, this isn't quite right. And I think that we only genuinely grow when we make those decisions for ourselves. I wanted to flash back to something you said at the very, very, very beginning of this episode. When I asked you, how do you always go out with a smile on your face? And there is this one quote that I haven't said on the podcast because I recently heard it. And, like, this quote to me has been, like, a guiding factor in a lot of my efforts as a friend and as a person to the people around me.
Which he's very good at, by the way.
I appreciate that, Aly. But the quote is, be the person you once needed. And I don't know who said it. Unfortunately, I didn't quite get that.
Like LeBron once said, that's my favorite
That's
quote,
my favorite. That's my favorite saying. That's my favorite saying. It's really, really, really beautiful because in my life, in the past, and even in the present at times, there have been moments where I've called out, I've screamed, I've been in, like, the worst, like, pit of my life, and I'm like, somebody, anybody,
please
help! Like, I need something, and I've reached, and
Ichigo Hollow scream.
exactly, and it's just radio silence. There's nobody. It's just empty, and that was the most terrifying moment in my life.
Absolutely.
It wasn't the pain that hurt. It was that when I needed help, there was nobody there. I think when you really reflect on that, it becomes so easy to be a good person to the people around you because there's always that, like, saying of, like, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
That's one thing I would never wish on my worst enemy was for somebody to reach out and have nobody, because that fear of just being alone. Theo Vaughn, he says, like, that loneliness isn't not having anybody, but if it's like when you feel like nobody has you. Nobody having you is terrifying.
So terrible.
It is genuinely a, like, heart-wrenching feeling because it's like I have to do this alone. Every wall, every mountain that I have to climb, I have to do by myself. Do I think that that's something we should all be comfortable doing? Absolutely. But it always helps to have somebody in your corner. I'm going on, like, a spree of quotes right now, but Uncle Iroh, he once said, while self-confidence is always important, a little bit of help from others goes a really long way.
Yeah.
Genuinely getting that help changed it for me. Giving that help has also been, like, revolutionary for me. And it's made it so easy for me to be there for people because I understand that they are in the position I was once in. What did I need? I needed somebody who was there.
Yeah.
And once you start thinking about that, it really puts it in perspective how important how you act to the people around you really is.
It really, like, obviously everyone's heard of the golden rule of treat everyone how you would want to be treated, but it boils to so much more than that. It boils down to a lot more than that. Not necessarily treat people how you want to be treated, but treat people how you wish you would have been treated. Not necessarily how you want to have been treated. What you want and what you think would have truly helped can be different things.
Damn. That's a bar right there, guys. That's a bar right
It's
there.
a bar.
It's beautiful.
But once you get into that feeling of, wait, someone does have me. Once you feel that for the first time, once you feel that support, once you feel that genuine connection, and you're like, I don't have to do this alone. it makes it so much easier to be there for others. Because now someone has, it's like paying it forward, but it's so much more than that. Because you genuinely do know how different that becomes, that you wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy. Screaming out and not even hearing your own echo, that is so much worse than screaming out and you hear a bunch of negative things back. Because at least someone is there talking to you. Obviously, I'm not saying bully your friends. But like, that's not what it is. Like, your friend comes to you, you're like,
good thing to preface, yes.
Idiot. Like, obviously not. But that silence, oh my God. To quote Juice WRLD, the feeling of uncertainty, the eeriness, and silence.
It's a banger song, by the way.
That is a great song, by the way. But nothing is so much worse than something you don't want. Right? You might be scared of an answer. You might be scared of a reply. You might be hoping for something. You might be expecting something else. But that perpetual state of not knowing what it ends up being is so much worse than just getting your heart broken for that little bit of time, and no matter what it might be, right? So when you do truly feel that, when you feel like there is someone there for you, the only thing you want is to be there for someone else. Because not only are you now not alone, knowing that that person isn't alone either, not even on no selfish timing, but it makes you feel fulfilled, right? It's a very fulfilling feeling to know that you saved someone from having to go through something that you went through, right? We all have our crosses to bear, but being able to take one off someone's shoulder is such a nice feeling. It makes you feel better about yourself. It makes them feel better about yourself, and it makes the world little bit of a better place.
Yeah, and it kind of takes me to, I don't know if you've ever watched, I believe it's Chris Williamson's podcast with C-Bum. And at the very end, I don't know if it was at the end, but during the podcast, he asks him, like, what would you say to somebody who's going through, like, a string of bad days? And C-Bum says, it's okay, you're not alone. Mm-hmm. And at first, when I watched the clip, I was like, are we serious, C-Bum? Like, that's the best we get. Like, are we serious? Mr. Olympia over here, that's the most knowledge he could distill. And then, like, he went on to talk about it, and he's like, everybody's going through a lot of challenges, and you're not the only one. Everybody's, facing all these struggles, and people are winning. People are, rising up against those challenges and doing better and growing and becoming better. And that shouldn't serve as why am I not? But it's that there's hope that I can be. And I think a lot of that, like, that feeling of, like, uneasiness, of, like, I'm genuinely, like, I don't know what to do.
I don't know.
Exactly. It's very scary. But knowing that there's other people in that scenario, I think offers a lot of, like, light. And I would even, like, go as far to draw an analogy in our own lives.
Yeah.
Is as of late, we've gone through some very similar issues. And just sitting in the car.
Split screen.
And, like, genuinely sitting there and, like, drawing the parallels between our stories, being like, yo, why is our pain the exact same right now? That feeling, and then us laughing about it, is genuinely the best therapy that a person could ask for.
By far.
Right? Genuinely drawing happiness out of the horrible things.
Gut-wrenching worst things that have... When I tell you, me and Nithik have stayed in the car for hours into the early dawn, till the butt crack of the morning, and talked about some of the worst things that have ever happened to us, but always left that car with a smile on our face and laughter in the air. When I tell you, that has made it so much easier to process those things, is because you really aren't alone. And back to everything happens for a reason, me and Nithik still would have been going through the same things, but had we never went out of our way that one day at Togo Sushi on campus to talk to each other really and get to know each other, I would have thought I was alone. You never know who else is going through what you're going through until you do. But when you do, you discover that there's so many other people going through that exact same thing.
And the thing about it that I've realized is between us, this is like a parallel that I realized. And I've said this quote before on the podcast, being, we don't build trust by offering help, we build trust by asking for it.
Yeah.
And between you and I don't think there was ever a moment where we sat there and was like, let me give you some advice.
Yeah.
It was more like,
Please give me some advice.
Please give me some advice. Or like, please, dude, just sit down and listen to me. And that is what made it so real, was I knew, or like you knew about me, that I was actually genuine about it, that I trusted.
And vice versa.
Exactly. And like, look at where that gets you, right? It gets you to a point of laughing through the genuine struggles. I think that what's the word? What's the adjective for genuine? Is it just genuine?
Sincere.
That sincerity of like being real with each other. It is it's therapy, guys. Like it really is therapy. Like I do believe in like having a therapist and talking about these things and like
guys,
the psychological. We are not licensed therapists. Like I don't have the qualifications to tell you what to do with your emotions. But the like ability to just sit across from someone and be like, dude, I feel you, man. Like I get what's going on. That feeling is genuinely insane. And it actually takes me to a video of Simon Sinek that I saw where he's like on some show talking about, what he talks about, what this guy's always talking about. He's talking about like his friends and such. Yeah. And I don't remember whether it was the interviewer that asked him or he asked them, but they asked the question, do you think you're a good friend? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. He asked the interviewer, do you think you're a good friend? The interviewer was like, yeah, I think I'm a good friend. And then he went down this string of like, yeah, well, have you done this for your friend? Have you done this for your friend? Have you done this for your friend? And then the interviewer was like, oh, I kind of haven't done a lot of that stuff for them. He's like, if your friend was depressed, have you gone and sat in bed with them and watched movies all day and eating ice cream instead of just texting them something? Have you recorded a video of you singing happy birthday to your friend? Or did you just post them on your Instagram story, right? There's a lot of levels to it. It doesn't mean that your efforts aren't necessary, but imagine if they did that for you. Imagine if your friend sent you a video of them singing happy birthday to you on your birthday. Imagine if at the darkest time of your life, your friend brought a tub of ice cream and said, hey, I don't care about any of the problems that we have going on right now. We're going to sit here, we're going to binge watch the entire Star Wars series and eat this ice cream, right? Maybe from the perspective of the friend offering the help, it isn't much. But from the perspective of the person receiving it, it means so much. So much. Like, there's always, like, those subtleties. Like, for example, when you're texting somebody and you say, love you versus I love you.
Yeah.
The difference between those two is insurmountable.
It really is.
The little things that you don't think have a lot of impact can really have a lot of impact. And step number 1 to understanding the impact is to just ask yourself, how would I feel if somebody did this for me? Because a lot of the times you realize it would mean so much. And when you realize that whatever barrier it is, whether you're tired, you're a little bit sleepy, you don't want to go out of your way, it doesn't matter. Like for me, with you, whenever I drive you, this guy lives in Richmond. This guy lives in middle of like nowhere area.
Middle of nowhere.
Like I don't know what you classify that area as, but regardless, I live pretty far from there. And it's like out of my way to go there. But I'd pick driving this guy home every single day over going home by myself because having that conversation to me is far more valuable than the extra 10 minutes I'll save driving straight home, right? Because that doesn't matter. There's so many more important things. Having those conversations are worth a million minutes that I could save driving. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is that I get to spend that time with my friends, that I get to have those conversations, that I get to talk about these things. You being there is worth more than any amount of time I could save, right? Having that conversation, sitting in that car, means more to me than any time I could save. So understand that for your friends, for the people that you love, the people that you care about, the little things that you do have such a massive, impact. And to dumb it down and just be like, oh, well, it's like, I didn't really think about it that much, so it probably doesn't have that big of an impact. Really put yourself in their shoes. And you'd see that those small gestures genuinely mean the world.
When I tell you guys that, this wouldn't have been too long ago now, probably. It would have been like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was transparently, I was feeling pretty crappy. And that's a very big understatement. I was at one of the worst points that I have been in for a long time. And I texted Nithik. I was like, hey, man, honestly, I'm not feeling it right now. Like, what do I even... Like, the lion doesn't concern himself with much of anything these days. The lion misses feeling emotion when it was fun. But I texted him. I was like, hey, I'm not doing good right now. And in my head, I was like, honestly, I hope he just has time to FaceTime me and we can just talk and I know I'm going to feel better. And the first thing he responded with was, what's your address? Mine? And I told him, I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm coming. I was like, what do you mean? It's like 1 a.m, by the way. I walked into that car genuinely crying, bawling my eyes out. I was going through it. And when I tell you, when we left that car at like 5 a.m, I was still crying, but out of straight laughter. That is one of the funny... When I tell you, it means so much more. That meant so much more to me than Nithik will ever know. Like, he knows it meant a lot to me, and I'm very open about that. But it will always mean more than I'm ever able to convey. Words can only say so much. They can only say what you want them to say. But what you wish they could say isn't the same thing. And I want you guys to really sit down and think, wow, if someone did this for me, how would that make me feel? And then imagine, how would that make my friend feel if I did that for them? Like Harvey Specter once said, loyalty is a two-way street. If I give it to you, I expect it back. And I think that's such a beautiful quote. Great show, by the way.
Shout out Harvey Specter. Shout out Suits.
Shout out
Genuinely
Suits.
convinced me to be a lawyer. But on that beautiful note, I want to take us to a segment that normally, once again, Akitha takes over. But as he is not here, I will be doing my best. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to head to our weekly woohoo. Woohoo! Woo! Now, once again, as always, Akitha normally does this, but my weekly woohoo today is surrounded around the disease known as Huntington's. Now, it's a genetic disease, and it has a very high mortality rate. Usually, within 10 to 15 years of somebody realizing that they have it, they pass away. However, recently, Professors Ed Wild and Sarah Tabrizi, along with a lot of other people, have developed a gene therapy treatment that can slow the effects of the disease by 75%, which leads to a lot of people being able to live a lot longer. Now, although the mortality rate is that 10 to 15 years, it is just a painful process. You lose your fine motor skills, your cognitive abilities. Like, it is extremely painful. People can't even process their emotions properly when they have the disease. And the other thing is that it's completely genetic. If a parent has it, if one parent has it, it's a 50% chance the child gets it as well. So it's an inherited disease, and it is very terrifying. It causes a very long, prolonged suffering. And I brought it up because, once again, this is not something you see in the news every day.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, we are just bombarded with negativity and horrible, horrible, horrible things that happen. And I know that it's extremely important for those things to be explained, to be explored, but there's a lot of beauty that's found in these other stories. There's so many great things happening in this world, so many developments being made, so many people fighting to make this world a better place. I think as a society and as people on the individual scale, we need to find more reasons to be happy. And I think that this is one of them. I think there's a million stories out today that can put a smile on our face, that should put a smile on our face, if we just gave ourselves that chance to read it. And also, as you guys know, we are coming to the end of this episode. However, before you guys go, you already know what time it is. It is time for Quote
Of
the
Week.
Hit 'em. Well, I'm going to be hitting you guys with the quote of the week.
He's going to hit 'em.
But, fair warning, again, guys, it feels so weird doing this. I'm not going to lie. First off, congrats to you for being my first guest to actually hit the quote of the week properly. I think I've had some historic struggle with that.
Oh, yeah.
But the quote of the week is, helping one person might not change the whole world, but it could change the world for that one person. And that is by De Leon Martin. Shout out to him. And I have mentioned this quote before. The reason that I picked it is because I think that it really embodies personally, I think the effect that we've had on each other as friends
yeah.
is that it's always those little things that just cause such a, and I'm so glad that we got to this like right at the end of this episode, but genuinely like there is so much impact to be found in the little things that we do for each other. And to believe that, oh, you know, I'm just one guy, I can't really change the world. You can for that one person, for 2 people, 5 people, 10 people. The whole reason that I've done what I've done on this podcast was so that I could hopefully change the world for one person. When I tell you, when I set out this goal, I said, I want to make one person's life better.
Yeah.
And I think that I've gotten to the point of achieving that, but it doesn't mean I'm going to stop. The point being that I really do believe that having those little moments that genuinely change people's lives, to believe that you have the impact to change someone's life, understand the power that's in your hands and make good use of it. And with that, I want to pass it off to you, Aly. I'm going to give you some time. Say whatever you want. You can close this out. Free reign.
Free reign.
I'm giving you free reign to say whatever you'd like to close out this episode, whatever you think the audience needs to hear, whatever you want them to hear, whatever you need to say. Take your moment now.
If there is something that I could leave every single one of you here with today, I want you guys to know every single one of you matters. Every single one of you is important. Every single one of you is incredible. You're all your own people. And every single one of you makes this planet that we call Earth just that little bit better. And like Nithik said, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, when me and Nithik have our talks, the world doesn't change. It keeps spinning. But for me and for him, maybe for that one moment, it slows down just enough for me to appreciate what's spinning around me, right? I want every single one of you guys to know, even if you don't, you might not know it now, you might not have known it before, you might not know it for a while, but somewhere, someone out there loves you, someone out there cares for you, someone out there values you. You are someone's priority. You might not know that, you might not feel it, but that doesn't change the fact that it's true. You don't have to believe it now. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe anything I say, really. But it's not going to stop me from trying. And I think if more people adopted that mindset of maybe I won't change the world today, maybe I won't change the world tomorrow, maybe I won't ever change the world, but the world will never change if I don't try. At the end of the day, I just want every single one of you to know, if no one has told you today, you are valued. I love you. If you haven't heard it today, you've heard it from me. And that's I with an I, not just love you. All right? But I just want you guys to know, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Nithik, for having me on. This was incredible.
I appreciate that, man. And with that, we come to the very end of episode 75 of the Brighter Horizons podcast. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Thank you to Aly for coming on here and doing a phenomenal job. And trust me, I know you guys are freaking out right now. Don't worry, there will be more Aly content coming up in the future. So don't worry, he will be back. Always go out there and remember that you have the power to make a change. Whether it be in your own life or in the lives of the people around you, you have the power to impact. Understand that that's extremely important. How you speak to yourself, how you speak to those around you, the things you do for yourself and for those around you. Understand that that will make a difference. Don't demean yourself. You have the capabilities to do whatever you want to, but always make sure you go out there and you live a positive life, y'all. Peace out.